Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk with Sana, episode 2 of Embracing Neurodiversity. And today I have with me two wonderful ladies, author Nazhah Khawaja and Dr. Nayela Ahmad. And I hope you had enjoyed our previous episode and learned from it. And we are here again to raise more awareness about early autism services. And we will walk you through today about what is neuroplasticity, how early is early autism services, when you can use them and how they're beneficial, and what all is provided in those services. Like Nazhah and Nayela, they're both working at two different centers, and they will walk you through what's happening there at their centers. So welcome.
Hi, Sana. Thank you. Hi, Nayela. Nice to see you ladies again.
Hi, Nazhah. Thank you so very much.
You are so welcome, my lovely ladies. So let's, I think, start with the first, what is neuroplasticity? I mean, like, what are all the conditions when we can say, okay, it's a neurodiverse condition? What causes it? Like, neuroplasticity and the things that Nayela is going to explain us. So over to you, Nayela.
Thank you, Sana. So as we talked about in our last episode also, that what's neurodiversity. So I would just like to shed light on it again, that neurodiversity is basically a difference in the brain, a human variation, a difference in learning and thinking. As we are talking about kids, so we can see the kids with difference in learning and thinking skills. So again, I don't want to go into that debate of, pathologizing the condition, that is it a disease, disability, or condition, or what. Let it be to the medical experts only. But it's a condition which has some specific needs, and those needs should be catered for. This is the basic essence of our conversation, that those needs should be catered. And then as we talk about the conditions which come under this umbrella term of neurodiversity, so just to mention that the individuals, they are called, or they are referred to as neurodivergent, and the population is referred to as neurodiverse. And so the conditions which come, they are autism spectrum disorder, ASD, ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and then specific learning disabilities, SLD, dyspraxia, and though sensory processing disorder is not yet mentioned under this umbrella term of neurodiversity, but I do consider personally, and I think in due course of time it will be considered too, because it is one of the major conditions affecting our kids in a holistic way. So these conditions which come under neurodiversity, and as mentioned, it's a difference in thinking, it's a difference in learning, which is manifested at the brain level. It is a difference in learning and thinking, and it is manifested as a difference in their actions, intents, thoughts, and behaviors, which we see generally, and which we generally address as the child is showing this behavior and that behavior, but it's all underlying conditions, neural conditions. It's referred to as a neurodevelopmental condition. So now when we talk about early intervention, or when we talk about neurodevelopmental conditions, so two things which come to mind. They are two things which should be considered. It's first is neuroplasticity, and second thing is developmental synchrony. So what's neuroplasticity? So as Sana mentioned, it's a very significant thing to be considered when we talk about early intervention. Why early intervention, and what is early? So it's like neuroplasticity is the ability of the neurons, the neural network, the brain, the nerve cells, everything to reorganize in response to different stimulations or different information. The stimulation could be internal, any physiological condition, or any neural condition, or any external condition or external experience. So our brain has the capacity, it has the ability to reorganize itself. This is called neuroplasticity. And though this ability, it lies with us throughout life, but the fact and the point to be noted is that the highest neuroplasticity is at the age of 0 to 3.5 years of age. So this is the biggest reason why we should go for early intervention. And there's a research which says that any skill, if it's mastered in the biological range, which is intended for a typical human development, if it could be mastered at that level, then we are in a phase which is called developmental synchrony. I mean, that we are developing, we could develop in a typical range. But with these delays, with these conditions, we know that there is a lag. But this lag could be closed. This gap could be closed. And if not closed, at least we can approach it in a better way. We can approach, like when we aim for mainstreaming our kids, when we aim to live not a typical life, but when we want them to mingle up with a typical population and to lead a typical life, to be their personal best, then we have to at least bridge the gap to the maximum possible extent. So for that, early intervention is required. Because when we intervene early at the brain level, so, then it gives the best outcome. And when the brain is only made to, like when it's working at the highest potential in the initial 3.5 years of age, then we have to work in that time frame only. So this is the significance of neuroplasticity, and this is why we need to work early, we need to intervene early. And now we have resources. We have resources to intervene early and to get things done in time. So why should we lag behind just because of some of the very prevalent superstitions, myths, and beliefs? I mean, this is the apathy. This is not right. So I think Nazhah should continue on that. And give her.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nayela. That was a very thorough explanation of the neuroplasticity and how plasticity is optimal during those initial years, the 0 to 3. And that's why, and the other thing I just wanted to add to that is that the studies have found and research has shown that children do best in their own familiar environment around their own family members and people and caregivers that they are accustomed to and familiar with. And so really, although we can, have outside resources, which is very important to kind of jumpstart the process of early intervention, I think looking into parent training when it comes to these different resources and therapies is very important for families, because the therapy doesn't stop at home, at the centers or with the therapist. It's a continuous process that should be, the parents and the caregivers should work alongside the therapists and get trained. And we provide that with Early Autism Services, the company that I work for. That is something that we are adamant about, is parent training and regular parent training, because if the child is only going to be seen and worked with under our watch, that's only a few hours here or there throughout the day and throughout the week. But really just for parents and caregivers to understand that it's an approach that should be taken inside the homes with the family members and just across the different touch points that the child has throughout the day. And just, wanting to talk about, and then now I'll mention, the therapies, because this is an important point. A lot of parents think that's the therapist's job, it's not my job, and I'm tired and I'm exhausted. And not to say that they're not. Of course, it's very difficult. Raising children is difficult in and of itself. And then when you have a child that needs extra support, it takes a toll on the family and the parent, the mom especially, usually. And so I understand that fact, but parents and caregivers should understand that this is something that needs to be continued at home to really take advantage of the plasticity, that range, and it'll make a world of a difference if that approach is taken. And so with that in mind, just wanting to touch upon the services that Early Autism Services has to offer. We do have multiple branches throughout the United States. We also serve in India and Australia. I do have a video that I would like to play from one of our centers. My colleague Jess creatively put this video together, and I would love to share it with you all. But basically, Early Autism Services, we have a behavioral intervention therapy approach for assisting children with autism. And we work on things such as social skills and play skills, turn taking and waiting, even directions like stop and go, to just help the child with being able to, in their daily lives, just being able to follow those instructions, follow along, follow directions, mainly to keep themselves safe and keep themselves engaged socially, which is a big concern of parents typically. So if it's okay, Sana, I'd like to share the video. All right. Oh, okay. I think I might need permission, sorry.
I
And
just
we also have, oh, sure, take your time. We also have free resources for parents. In case you are in a location that we do not service, we do have free webinars that you are welcome to access, and Sana can provide details if you'd like. We do provide webinars on potty training tips, preschool readiness, functions of behavior, that sort of thing. And so feel free to reach out to Sana or myself, and I can share those resources as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
they're
think we
awesome.
can share now. The permissions are there, and I've also
Great.
in the speaker view.
Thank you, Sana. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I'll go ahead and play the video.
Hello and welcome to our Early Autism Services Therapy Center here in Richmond, Virginia. We offer one-to-one ABA, speech and language, and occupational therapy to children with autism between 18 months and 12 years old. At Early Autism Services, we are passionate about the potential of every child. We use a combination of play-based learning, table time activities, and peer-to-peer interactions to encourage socialization. All of our programs are tailored to your child's individual needs. So whether your goals are getting your child ready for kindergarten, self-help, developing new language, learning to play and engage with peers, or building a variety of other skills, our team will create a program to meet your child's individual needs. Give us a call today to schedule an in-person tour or set up a free consultation with one of our clinicians. We look forward to meeting you.
That was brilliant. And the best part was, like, as the video mentioned, that they cater to the individual differences of the child. And this is what we need to consider, even as a parent or a caregiver. What we need to consider is the individual profile of a child. It's not that generally what we see is that parents are mentioning, oh, you know, like my child, parents are just considering those signs and symptoms of the child. But we have to consider the whole child. The child should not be known through the signs and symptoms. The child is having each and everything. There are positives, there are negatives, there are conditions. There are many different aspects of a child, and we need to consider everything. We need to build upon the strengths. We need to work upon the weaknesses. But this is the thing we need to shift our lenses.
Agreed. My colleague Jess, who was in the video, she likes to say, if you've met one child with autism, that means you've only met one child with autism. And it just to your point, Nayela, just, you know, every child is different. Their needs are different. Parents should not compare their child to any other child. And we shouldn't do that in general, you know, regardless of, you know, the neurodiversity. But so that's a very good point. Thank you.
Thank you, Nayela. Thank you, Nazhah, for bringing, you know, all this information, resources, and creating awareness. And I want to say to all the parents who have children with special needs that you are not alone. We are trying to make a voice here, and there is help available. I mean, you have to see the signs of your children when they need, and the earliest is the better. Earliest, you know, that you understand their needs and you can work on their strengths and you can, you know, build up their weaknesses, that it helps them, you know, not limit them, the better it is, you know, because ultimately it is one society and we all have to look together and they have to live their life, in a better way. And how we can all adjust to it is like, you have to give more exposure to those children. There's no point hiding it, keeping them inside, because ultimately they have to live in this world, and you as a parent will not be forever. So the child has to be independent, alone, and he has to know, or she has to know, to manage herself. And you have to give her the tools, or I would say the wings, to fly. So as parents, I think it's overwhelming, because you haven't done it before. You were not born as a parent. You learn it on the process. And the thing is, the help is available. There's early autism services, there are different helplines. If you think you don't know, you can reach out to me, Nayela, Nazhah, and we can guide you through it. We can point out where you can take the help. And I would like to end for today's episode with one of the great quotes that my friend Nayela has given to me from Robert Brooks, that we must help children and adults identify and reinforce the islands of competency, so that at some point it becomes more dominant than the ocean of inadequacy. So I hope you would have liked our episode. You would have got something from it. And if you want to add in more, you can add it in the comments. And I would say, like one of my friends, Jennifer Abufal, said, the least you can do to help and support, and if you like, is to share. Share this video and our content as much as possible, so it reaches to the right people. And even if you think there's nothing from you to take it, please share it, let it reach to the people who need it. And thank you so much. We'll be back next month with another episode. And if you have something special to add in, do let us know. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Nazhah. Thank you, Nayela.
Thank you. Bye-bye.